Good day, everyone. Of course, this video is going to be on Aries. So first and foremost, everyone likes to say that they are the #1 sign of the zodiac. Well, Aries is sincerely the #1 sign of the zodiac. A few things about Aries are Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of war, hence the aggression or the aggressiveness of an Aries. It's also a cardinal sign. Aries starts on March 21st till April 19th. But let's keep in mind that Aries is our sun sign. So if you look at my other videos, and if you add yourself on the Paradox Astrology page, you can go back and view those videos because each planet has an effect on us. But this is all about Aries. So Aries is exalted, and the sun in Aries is exalted. And if Aries is in Venus, it's in detriment. But some things to know about an Aries. So I'll start with some keywords for Aries. I'll start with the negative. Impatient, impulsive, selfish. And I would like to say that selfishness is not necessarily a selfishness in the sense of not wanting to give, but maybe more with goals, that sort of thing. But, you know, the lines are kind of blurred with that. So definitely impulsive. Aries is also accident prone, especially, hold on. Oh, especially, I know I myself have to be careful because I tend to do a lot of slip and falls or just random injuries. But with the head, some will say you're not a true Aries unless you have some sort of head wound of some sort. And I guess you can see mine here. Aries women also have a very distinct face. You can actually see like where they look or we look like rams. But without going too far deep into that. So, our look, no matter how we're feeling, is written all over our face. So Aries has a hard time hiding how they truly feel, especially like in a workplace scenario if we are not really taking to someone. Also, to piggyback that, Aries intelligence, I'd like to say, is more of an intuitive one, but we'll come back to that. As far as positives, Aries is confident. Now, you will see, I don't know about Aries men so much because I've never really dealt with one. And I don't know too many personally. I know my grandfather was a Aries, but I know more so about the female and the basic characteristics. But Aries are always attractive. And it's probably stems from the inner confidence and the courage within Aries. Because Aries can really give less of a fuck most of the time. And perhaps that shows on our face, and that's why people say that we're mean. We look mean. Why do we always have that look on our face? That's because we're always in our heads. We're always thinking intensely. Aries has a lot of energy. Being the first sign of the zodiac, it's also about initiation. We don't mind initiating contact or anything else, whether it be a goal, conversation, just not shy individuals. But also let's keep in mind that, that the other planets have an effect, especially our moon sign. Our moon sign is going to depict our emotions. But this is our sun sign, so it's about our personality, ego, that sort of thing. Lots of energy. Aries, if you have a fire sign child, period, I always say when people tell me, oh, their child is a Leo, a Sag, or an Aries, I'm like, okay, well, make sure that you have them in every sport or dance class possible. We have need of channeling our energy in a positive way. Aries can also be obsessive, extremely obsessive, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing. We don't really have a line or boundary. Let's say that we're doing something we enjoy. We'll push it to the limit and we'll go hard. And that can also be, and there's an adverse effect to that too, because obsession can carry over into drugs, sex, and other things. Aries is extremely self-reliant. Hold on, I got to check on Scylla. Okay. Extremely self-reliant, loyal, extremely intense. Now, our intensity, I don't know that I can really help mine. I'm a double Aries. I have Aries rising as well. So people like to say that, oh, Aries are too pushy in a sense. And we can be. So I know that I have need to be mindful of that. Let's see what else I have here. Aries are brave. Aries are just willing. We don't just set goals. We actually do. We put action with it or toward it. Aries, if you see an Aries, usually I like to say Aries, we don't walk into a room, we kind of stumble or kind of can be all over the place to a certain degree. Is a certain energy when you come in contact with an Aries. And a lot of the time it can be so intense that others do not really take too well to us. I have a coworker who, she's a Cancer, but she's an Aries rising. And I noticed that she kind of has the same challenges as far as having a strong personality and how, others in the workplace look at and or treat us. Because, who wants to deal with the ones with the big mouths who are going to say how they feel, right? Let's see what I have. I write notes now because I'm so forgetful. Aries is competitive, but in a good way. Like Aries, we enjoy sports-related activities. I'd prefer on a date. I don't necessarily want to go and eat with someone that I don't know like that. I'd rather do something that requires some sort of action or activity. So, and you can use your imagination with those. But I mean, on a clean slate, like rock climbing, mini golf. Horseback riding, those sort of things. But competitive, we like to compete, but not necessarily with others. That's not our thing, but we like to, I would say more so like tug of war type shit. Like we want to win. So like in a team situation, Aries is definitely a team player. What happens with Aries a lot of the time is that we can burn out quickly depending on what we're doing and how hard we're going. So we have to be mindful of that. Aries also has tons of ideas, but it can be hard for us to follow through. Now, also, this depends on the other aspects of your chart because we are not solely our sun sign. And as I said, you can go and watch the Sun, Moon, Mercury videos I did on my page. And I believe I did Venus as well. So I noticed that also, like if I'm at work, right? And it could just be me. Or it could be anywhere. I'm just so much in my head that I can see someone and I may not necessarily say good morning because I'm just so much in my head, but it's sort of like I've acknowledged them already. Very weird. But it's not that we're being rude. It's that we are very much so in our heads. Aries can also go down the lane of self-sabotage. Oh, I know this one all too well. Because that can kind of go back to we want what we want when we want it. And that is not always conducive to getting what we want. So, yeah. Aries can also be big on revenge. We don't like disrespect or lies and that sort of thing. So we feel like if you have lied to us or disrespected us, we kind of will throw the ball right back at you the same way. Now, what I notice for me personally is that I come into contact with a lot of people who are passive-aggressive, and I'm aggressive-aggressive. So no one sees what they're doing, but they see how the Aries is coming at the other individual, which is usually large or in a big way. Or it's just very much, it's blunt. Aries has need of working on passive aggression because that would get us a hell of a lot further. Especially in the workplace where we're getting what we want. Aries is very, although we're blunt, and a lot of people will say, oh, I just can't deal with that individual, or, they've always got something negative to say. It's not that we're negative, we're opinionated. And with that being said, we will listen to others' opinions, and we have respect for others' opinions and their perspective, but it just has to make sense to us. If you make sense to us and we're like, oh, okay, and it resonates, then, we'll vibe on that. But Aries is very open, regardless of what, other individuals may perceive of us, but we are. So don't let the major how we go about our opinions sway you from the character or our genuine angle on things. Aries is optimistic. Let's see. Okay. I said liable to accidents and injuries, revenge, self-control. Aries... Aries can be a bit much, and the self-control factor for some of us, depending on our environment and how we came up and whatnot, we may be a little more in control of ourselves than others. But I know many Aries are just we're fiery. We go from 0 to 100 real quick. But we can also be flip mode 1 minute and then kind of like in a few minutes later it's all good with us. And I see that a lot of people are not like that. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're dealing with Aries. Also, you know that Aries is a fire sign. Our day is Tuesday. We're cardinal. I have a ton of shit here. Aries is quite charming. And Aries can be have a stalker-like behavior or characteristics, if you will, however you want to put that. And then there goes my light. So I'll go through these real quick. Aries can be very forgiving, resourceful. You know what? There we go. Resourceful, rebellious, absolutely, and extroverts. But some good things about Aries is that when Aries is your friend, you have a friend forever. Aries is very loyal. Aries will, we don't like bullies. We don't like that type of thing. We're very fair, if you will, individuals. And we will go hard for our friends and basically put ourselves on the line or our lives on the line, depending on that situation. We are the warriors of the zodiac. Again, ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet of war. So do what you will with that. If you want to please an Aries, show them that you appreciate them. Because we tend to do a lot for others. And we have a very childlike way of going about things. A childlike way of going about things. And sometimes that can be misconstrued for like us being weak or foolhardy. But that's just, like, don't get that twisted with the Aries. But we definitely need to be shown appreciation. We can also be vulnerable, but who can't be, right? We're very cranky and moody. I'm definitely, that's like number one on my list, moody. I can be super excited about something, and then like an hour or two later, I'm just like, fuck it, I don't even want to do it anymore. And so that goes back to Aries with their goals. We have a ton of goals, but we can kind of lack on follow through. Aries is never complacent. I don't know. I used to think that was just sort of like my thing where I feel like, not that I can't be happy. It's just that I'm never complacent. I always want to reach for more. I want more out of life. And big on reaching goals. Aries is extremely picky with partners and friends. We can size you up immediately and know what you're about pretty much. Aries can be swayed in this when it comes to passion and matters of the heart. So Aries have to be careful with that. Aries is very likely to spoil their partner. I don't know so much about the males, but I would think pretty much the same way. They probably do, but they're probably more aloof than the Aries women are. We're protective, a bit crude, and Aries, we don't like half-stepping at all. So I could go on and on about Aries, but Aries needs constant stimulation and freedom. And anybody that we deal with, it's not that, because, we can kind of have a dominant personality or angle, but I want to say that when it comes to freedom, in the sense of not just being reckless, but if we have certain goals or we believe in a certain way, we don't need you to jump on board and be that with us. We just need you to respect that, because it means a lot to us, and freedom in that sense of the word. So yeah, no, in my mind I'm thinking about Aquarius. Aquarius needs a different type of freedom, but that's a whole nother story. Aries can be prone to anxiety. We get bored easily. We're natural leaders, and as I said, adventurous and need constant stimulation. So this is why Aries definitely could benefit from the gym, working out, and mental workouts as well. And for Aries, since our minds are constantly going, I would recommend, or I do recommend, meditation. Yoga Nidra is the shit. My uncle had put me onto the Yoga Nidra quite some time ago, and I tell you, it definitely relaxes one, and I want to say you definitely get a peace of mind with that, and you go right to sleep, literally. So yes, let's see if I have anything else here that is worth going over. Aries is definitely fearless, overly opinionated, as I already said, and can have a hero complex. We respect others, their choices, and whatnot, even though we are heavily opinionated. Aries do not understand secrecy or silence. We're like, just spit it out already. Just say what's on your mind. I know it took quite some time for me to wrap my mind around that everyone is not going to operate the same way as I do, and they're not going to be as forward, which can be extremely frustrating for the Aries. Aries show our love by acts of kindness, and many other ways. We're extremely affectionate. We just don't take to everyone. We don't really care for too many people in our space. We're very friendly and that sort of thing, very respectful of others, but we don't necessarily want to interact with, too many different energies. And again, that would go back to being able to read individuals pretty much immediately upon meeting an individual. Aries can be a wild child. They can be pretty quiet children, but then you'll notice in their teens, they'll start to kind of wild out. But again, this is why it's important to have an Aries in structured activities. Sexual compatibility is absolutely important to the Aries. I've actually heard that Aries men are not that great in bed, but I wouldn't know. I've never dealt with an Aries. But, yeah, I heard they're, you know what, I'm not even going to go in on my Aries. I'm feeling a little calm right now, so I won't even go there right now. We have strong personalities. We're willing to rescue the endangered. We don't like bullies. We love to teach, and we're very involved. Let's see. And I would definitely, if you're an Aries, watch the Mars video. And also, Aries has need of balance. We can want to go hard with a workout or, just focus on work, but we really need a balance of work home. So we have to be mindful of that constantly. And as I said, Aries not only believes, we actually do. We put action with what we believe, no matter how big the goal or dream. We're charming. We can be reckless, and have need of discipline. We're easily irritated, and we don't like to be, what would you call it? We don't like demands. Even though we're demanding, we don't particularly care for demands, nor do we respond to them positively. If you want something from an Aries or want them to change their behavior, suggest it. Suggest it, and don't try to embarrass the Aries, because the Aries is so fiery that we will blow up. So if you do have something or want something from an Aries, it's best to go about it in a very respectful way and not demand. But I guess that kind of goes for everyone, right? Like, who wants to be in a situation where there's constant demands and actually follow through on those demands? Aries needs to focus on self-development. And I think that that's where what I was saying in the beginning about being selfish, in that sense of self-development and not being big-headed, but, you know, focusing on self, having that balance. Because, as I said, Aries burns out quickly. We have a lot of goals and things that we want to attain, but Aries has to have some grounding and individuals around them that can help them with the follow-through and the steps to take in order to get to that end goal. And that's about it. So if you have any other questions about Aries or any other sign, but since we're number one, like, who cares about any other sign right now? I hope everyone is enjoying their spring. We've got a little bit of spring going on up here in New York, but then it's cold at night. So the next video I'll be doing is on Taurus, and I'm thinking maybe Saturn. So good night, everyone, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.